A breakthrough tonight in the disturbing case of a baby found in the Lloydminster landfill. More than a year after it all began, the infant's mother, who is charged in connection with the case, has finally entered her plea, and Danielle Jackson has pleaded guilty. This was the scene in November of 2011. Close to 30 members from across Alberta combing through the landfill, finding the remains of the baby after a 5-day search. It wasn't until 5 months later that the 27-year-old was charged with concealing the body of a child. Jackson will be back in court on February 28th for sentencing. A scary incident for some school children in the Battlefords this morning. Their school bus skidded off the road and ended up in the ditch. It happened just after 8 a.m., roughly 12 kilometers southeast of Battleford. RCMP say the bus driver missed a turn and wound up hitting a snowbank before going off the road and into the ditch. There were 12 students and 2 adults on the bus at the time. 1 child and 1 adult sustained minor injuries. The driver has been charged with 1 count of driving without due care and attention. Well, some good news for patients looking to see a doctor in Maidstone. Starting January 2nd, the Maidstone Primary Health Clinic will have expanded hours. The clinic will be open an additional 4 hours per day, Monday to Thursday, plus will be open on Saturday mornings. Patients will be seen by appointment only. You can set up an appointment by calling 306-893-2689. Appointments would be for the same or next day. A 4-month conditional sentence has been given to the chief of a Saskatchewan First Nation who pleaded guilty to violating a probation order not to drink. Stuart Cody Baptiste of the Red Pheasant First Nation was also placed on 6 months probation when he was sentenced this week in a North Battleford courtroom. The Crown had argued for a jail sentence of up to 50 days, but Baptiste's lawyer says he hopes the lenient sentence will encourage his client to get the help he needs to stop drinking. Court heard Baptiste was charged after he showed apparent signs of drinking when he was spotted at a bar in late October. He received a suspended sentence and 6 months probation in June for driving tickets and breaches of probation related to drinking. He's also scheduled to face trial next year on charges of impaired driving and refusing a breath test in Biggar back in 2010. The parking, the lines, and then of course the excessive spending. The holiday season brings added stress to almost everyone. Even here in the border city, stress levels are high among shoppers as our stores fill up. And Elise Cox finds out some stress-relieving tips to keep in mind over the Christmas season.
The mall is busy with shoppers trying to squeeze in their last few visits before Christmas morning. And we all know leaving things to the last minute tends to be stressful for most, especially during the holiday season.
It's Christmas season. When isn't it stressful?
Yeah, they're stressful. It seems to get worse every year. You're just always trying to find the right gift, and it's getting harder and harder.
Dr. Wilhelm explains it's not only about the added expenses during this time of year, it also has to do with pressures.
I think the holidays are stressful because of the high levels of expectations that we have regarding what's going to happen and what we may experience, and the general sort of social excitement that goes along with the event.
He says there are 3 main pressures we face. First, financial pressures.
There's a lot of pressure to spend from society, from culture, from advertising, and from our own families, and even from within ourselves.
Second is time. Feeling like you have to try and divide yourself between family and friends over the holidays, and also trying to fit all you need to do in this short period of time. And third, physical pressure.
We're ready to have fun, but sometimes we don't have the physical or the psychological stamina to contend with all of this.
So he has a few tips to try and relieve stress over the Christmas season. He says to write things down, make lists. The more organized you are, the less you have to worry about, and you may even end up saving yourself some money by avoiding impulse buys at the store. And don't let your body fall out of its natural routine.
Make sure that you're getting some sleep. Make sure you're eating right. I mean, this is a time of year when you eat things that are really, really attractive and maybe not that healthy. So try and do some of those kinds of things in moderation. Take a breath. If all of this stuff is overwhelming you, I know it's cold. It's going to be cold, but maybe go for a walk around the block. Take a breath.
Elise Cox, Newcap News.
And with Christmas less than a week away, there are plenty of people still waiting to the last minute to get their presents. Shoppers in the border city are no different. Bart Patiasic has more.
When asking border city shoppers, typical answers are the norm.
Not quite yet, no. I'm still trying to get some last minute stuff done.
Waiting until last minute is even a holiday tradition for some.
I'm usually one of those people that shop Christmas Eve and all at once.
Yeah, most of the time. I guess I'm a typical guy, I guess. Yeah.
And it's even harder when it comes to shopping for a significant other.
I don't know, it's hard to pick out stuff for your wife. Whatever gets wrong, right? So you got to pick out something, and if it's wrong, get it so they can bring it back and get something they want.
Jewelry stores just love me because I come on the 24th in a panic to buy something for the wife, and of course it's always got to be the right thing, so they're smiling when they see me.
According to one retailer, the crowds have been thinner than usual.
It's died down a bit this year. I think it's going to start trickling in though.
And compared to last year, more and more people are waiting until last minute.
Last year Christmas, it was crazy. It was really, really busy. This year is quite slow. Everyone's getting a later start.
Jolly isn't concerned with the lack of shoppers because this weekend is expected to be the busiest before the holiday. For one shopper, the last minute effort is unavoidable.
It's easier just to give them money and say, buy what you want. But they're not happy with that because it's not a personal thought. So I don't know, I'm probably screwed here.
Bart Patiasic, Newcap News.
The countdown is on until Christmas, with less than a week until the big man in the red suit takes his tiring trek around the world. But there's a risk Santa may not make it this year. And this week's Beyond the Classroom, we tell you why.
Well, it's not what most kids want to hear.
Santa Claus is sick, and he is in front of his television trying to recoup for Christmas Eve, and he has a variety of his favorite shows that he watches.
And while watching, Santa is learning many girls and boys have lost the meaning of Christmas.
The more they get, the more they want. Who ever thought of giving gifts at Christmas anyway?
Luckily, it isn't the real Santa who's under the weather. Kids here at Father Gorman are preparing for the Christmas season with an annual play, this year looking at the true meaning of Christmas.
The message is that there is a true meaning behind Christmas, and that we should really be concentrating on that instead of looking at all of the commercial things around us.
And though the verdict may be out on many kids, students here seem to get that message loud and clear.
I think it should be more about focusing on not about getting, but giving, and remembering what happened on that day long ago.
I think it's more like not about taking, but giving. Like not getting presents or anything, just remembering what happened long ago.
It's really fun, and it's not all about getting presents.
And it seems Santa is regaining his faith in the Christmas spirit as well.
Let's go to find his baby in Bethlehem.
And will be well enough to make that Christmas trip after all.